If you're interested in getting started in trail running, then this week's video is for you. In this week's video, I'm going to give you guys tips and show you guys how to start trail running. So let's get right into this week's video, which is trail running for beginners. Happy New Year, guys. New year, new resolutions, new journeys. This week we're literally going to hit the trails running. We're going to go out to the trail and cover 4 main topics with several tips within each topic to get you guys started running on the trails. By the time we're finished, you'll be beginner trail runners. So let's get up and get out there, and we'll see you guys on the trail. So we are out on the trail. Like I said, we're going to start it out here with our first topic / tip number 1, which is watch your path. Watching your path is very important. You need to constantly be watching what's going on in front of you on the trail for obstacles and course changes. Of course you can sightsee, but you need to constantly be paying attention to what's going on in front of you. You need to keep sight on what is happening at least 6 to 10 feet in front of you at all times. Constantly be watching that trail because you never know what's going to come up or what's going to change. And that is all the time. Whether you just ran this trail or you're familiar with running it, it doesn't matter because trails change all the time. The weather can change it, it rains, it snows, a tree falls from the wind, an animal drags a limb onto the course, a dog digs a hole. It doesn't matter. A lot of things can cause changes in the trail. So whether you ran it yesterday or you just ran it 2 minutes ago, stuff can constantly change, so you have to be watching. So now we're going to go and I'm going to demonstrate how to keep an eye on your path so you know what's going on in front of you at all times. Okay, I wanted to show you guys what it looked like going both ways, so I'm running away from the camera now just to show you my running posture, my running form, and how I'm navigating the trail. And then in a second, we're going to come back towards the camera and I'm going to show you how I'm watching the trail, navigating the obstacles and all that. I set it up where I had more obstacles coming back than I did going forward. That's why I put those obstacles to that one side of the trail. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like going both ways so you can get a good idea. Okay, as you guys can just see, I kept an eye on my path. I always had a line of sight 6 to 10 feet in front of me to know what was going on. As you guys saw, if you can see way back there, my first obstacle was the hanging vine. And the second obstacle was a stick that was hanging out halfway across the lane that could have tripped me. That wasn't there last time either, so I saw that and adjusted because I was paying attention 6 to 10 feet in front of me. And then my last obstacle was this log right here that is in front of me that fell out of this tree. And you really have to be watching because it can blend in with the leaves very well, but luckily I saw it and I was able to jump over it. I could have jumped over it, I could have went around it. Going around it is probably going to be safer than going over it, but I do like a challenge every once in a while. We're going to go on to topic number 2, which is running uphill. There's going to be a lot of uphills on the trails, so we have 3 to 4 tips for you guys to keep in mind and keep you going up them hills and keep you going to the end of the trail. So we're going to head over to the uphill segment right now. Alright, so topic number 2 is running uphill. As you guys can see, we have a pretty big hill in the back. The first tip is learning to conserve your energy. You have to learn how to not burn yourself out all at once. Don't burn all your matches before you get to the top or anything like that because you still have trail to go after that most of the time. So learn how to pace yourself. Don't be discouraged if you have to go a little slower up hills because inevitably you're going to build up endurance over time and be able to go up those hills faster and faster. Pacing yourself is key. So tip number 1, pace yourself. Don't push yourself too hard and don't be discouraged if you have to go slower. Tip number 2 is directed at the road runners and myself too. This is something I have to work on. So tip number 2 is don't look at your watch. People that run on the road and run for speed are constantly looking at their watch. I'm guilty of this. I still have to work on this to this day when I'm trail running because I'm constantly wanting to know my pace. I'm constantly wanting to know my speed, my time, and all that. And when you're trail running, 1, that is just dangerous. So that takes us back to topic and tip number 1, which is watch your path. And 2, it is just going to sometimes get you down because inevitably when you're starting out trail running and even pros that are trail running, you're going to be slower than you are on a track. When you're out there on a track or on the road that don't have a lot of hills in the flats, you don't have hills. You don't have obstacles and stuff that are going to slow you down like you do on trails. So don't be discouraged. Don't look at that watch. Just get up that hill. So tip number 2 for the uphill running and running in general, don't look at the watch. Tip number 3 is listen to your heart rate. Listen to your breath. If you are gasping for air, you are running too hard. Dial it back, especially on the uphill. If you think your heart rate's through the roof, dial it down. You don't have to power up those hills. You don't have to scream up those hills. Take your time on the hills so you can go faster on the downhill and faster in the flats. If you burn out on the uphill, you're not going to have any energy for the downhill and the flats. And trust me, a lot of people think downhills might be easy, but when you're burnt out, the downhills can be just as bad as the uphills. So listen to your heart rate, listen to your breath, and listen to your body. Now we're going to move right over into tip number 4, which is use your arms. When you're running uphill, use your arms. There's 2 techniques that I'm going to show you guys today to use your arms during the run to get more efficient. The first one is going to be running with your arms, over-exaggerating your arm use when going up a hill to gain more energy and more power. And the second one is going to be, I'm going to show you how to speed walk up a hill and use your arms at the same time to get the most out of that technique. So we're going to go right now, and I'm going to show you how to use your arms running uphill by over-exaggerating your arm use. As you guys can see here, I'm really swinging my arms and over-exaggerating to give me the momentum I need to get up the hill. It might look silly because I believe I looked retarded, but it is very efficient. I had a lot more energy just by pumping my arms harder than I would on a regular flat run or a downhill run. It gives me a lot of energy and a boost going uphill. Now I'm going to show you guys how to embrace the power walk. First things first, though, I want to say is don't be discouraged by having to walk the uphills. It just gives you an advantage, and you'll be able to go faster on the downhills and the flats. So now I'm going to show you guys how to embrace that power walk and go uphill. The way I like to power walk and use my arms is by walking real hard and powerful and pushing down on my quads with my hands to get that extra boost up the hill. So now I'm going to come up this hill and show you guys the technique I use for power walking up a hill. You can walk fast and you can push down, and it's real efficient. When you're pushing down, it gives you more boost and all that. Don't push down too hard, you don't want to hurt your quads, but you want to give yourself enough stability and enough boost to get up that hill. Now we're going to move over to topic number 3 and the tips for it, which is running downhill. Topic number 3 is running downhill. Tip number 1 for running downhill is keeping your feet under your center. So what you're wanting to do is stay centered. When you're running downhill, that's very important. You do have to lean into the downhill, but all the leaning in is done below the hips. Do not lean in like this. You don't want to hunch over or lean when you're running downhill. That is going to cause you to fall down. You want to lean below the hips, just have that slight feel of leaning, but keep everything in your center of gravity. This is hard to do at first, and it's taken me a long time, and it still is taking me some time to learn it. I have not perfected it, and I don't think I'm going to perfect it anytime soon. But practice makes perfect, so just get out there, try it as much as you can, implement it, and over time it'll become muscle memory. Tip number 2 for downhill running is quick cadence, fast feet, or what I like to call it, happy feet. Keep your feet moving fast when you're going downhill. It'll make it a lot easier and lighter when you're running. If you run real hard and have long strides, you're going to press down on obstacles harder, and it can cause you to roll an ankle quicker or fall faster and have an injury that isn't necessarily necessary. When you run light and run fast, you don't put as much pressure on those obstacles like rocks, limbs, and all that stuff that's on the ground. And that's especially important when there's stuff on the ground like snow or leaves. In our current situation, you don't know exactly what's under those leaves. So keeping it light and keeping your feet fast is going to protect you more in the end. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now by running down the hill with quick feet. I am over-exaggerating my fast feet a little bit just so you guys can get an idea of what I mean by fast feet compared to any other way. So you don't have to go as hard at the fast feet as I am, but it works. Now, a lot of these tips might look silly, and you might feel like you look silly doing them, but honestly, they're for your protection, they're for your safety, and they're for your efficiency. Implement them every time you run downhill. You're on your way to becoming one of the best trail runners out there. Now we're going to head back and go on to topic number 4, which is running gear and the essentials you need for running the trail. So now we're on to topic number 4, and that is running gear that you will need. The number 1 and most important thing you will need for running the trails is the proper running shoes that fit you and give you proper support and that you feel most comfortable in. A lot of people will tell you in other YouTube videos or in magazines and articles, this is best shoe here, this is the best shoe there, but honestly it's all preference and what works best for you. I highly recommend going to a running shoe store, explaining to them what you're wanting to do with your running, and let them evaluate your feet, your stride, your running, and all that, and then they'll have a shoe that better fits you based off the analytics they get of the tests that they do. For me, road running or trail running right now, I use Hoka. I go through Hoka. The first set of shoes that I had through them was the Hoka One Rincons, which I did a review here a while back. I will drop the link to it up here somewhere. There's a card on the screen. You can click and watch that in just a little bit after this video is over. And I recommend Hoka altogether. They're a good brand. Like I said, most important thing, shoes that properly fit you, give you the best support for the type of running that you're doing. That is the one most needed thing that you'll need when it comes to gear. Now we're going to go in to gear tip number 2. Gear tip number 2 is going to be socks. I have sensitive feet. My feet are weak. I can't walk outside in rocks on my feet or anything like that. I can't walk outside barefooted. I just have weak feet. I've always been that way. For me, socks are important. So all I run in, since I got that blister, which hurt me early on when I first started running because I wasn't educated about running, I just got out there and did it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you just learn the hard way. So I recommend doing your research when you first start running. I run in nothing but feature socks. They're really good for me because my feet are sensitive at the front, up by my toes, where the balls of my foot are, and around the back of my heel, and up around the top where the top of the shoe is. These feature socks that I wear, they have cushion in those areas and extra protection. So I think that's what I will run in from here on out unless I find a better sock, but I have honestly done a lot of research and have not found a better sock than feature. But tip number 2 is socks. I hope that helped you guys, and I hope to see you guys out there hitting those trails and becoming beginner trail runners, and I hope you guys enjoy it because overall that's what it is about, enjoying the trail run and having fun. If you do get out there to start trail running, if you trail run already, if this video inspires you or helped you out any, drop a comment in the comment section below to let me know. I've got a lot of comments on my videos in the past saying they've inspired people and that they've helped, and that's awesome to me. That makes me ecstatic, it makes me excited, and it's awesome because if I can help just one person or inspire just one person, then my mission has been completed of what I'm wanting to do with these videos. Sitting here getting ready to get my game on, gonna play some Call of Duty. I just wanted to take a second and do a couple shout outs because I've been told recently by 2 people that are good friends of mine that I have inspired them to start their fitness journey. So I think that is really awesome, and I want to give them a shout out. So my first shout out goes to Mr. Andrew Van Bibber, and he's known our family a long time, and he's wanting to get his fitness journey going, and I think that's awesome. He's always given me kind and encouraging words during my fitness journey, so I'm going to do the same for him. He tagged me in a Facebook post today. It made me feel awesome because I can inspire somebody. So shout out to you, Mr. Van Bibber. And my second shout out goes to my bro, Zach Matney. He's a law enforcement officer. As long as I've known him, he's been into fitness, weightlifting and stuff, and he's been getting into running. The video I did a while back, he messaged me and said that it inspired him to start running when he watched it. He's been cracking down and doing awesome ever since, so I want to give a shout out to you, bro. That is awesome. I'm thinking about doing these shout outs more often in my videos. So if you guys like that, let me know. And if you would like me to invite some people onto my channel to tell their story about their fitness journey as well, let me know in the comment section, and we might definitely start doing that. That is going to wrap up this week's video, guys. If you did enjoy this week's video, please give it a big thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and go down there and hit that subscribe button. What's holding you back? Subscribe. We've got awesome stuff. Invite your friends and family to subscribe as well. Always remember to train insane, and we will see you guys next time.